Hi folks, CodeTutor here and my name is Anil Deshpande. Folks, welcome to another video on Android CI/CD series. In the previous video, we understood how to basically work with flavors and how it combines with build types and helps you to create a combination of build flavors and build types. And you can see that build variants in the Android Studio, how they will look in the Android device settings app. And as you can see, there are 6 build variants and 6 apps that get installed on the device. But there is a problem if you pay attention to this. The problem is, let's assume that production release build variant can be easily mapped to application which doesn't have any nomenclature attached to it like DBG. QA debug can be thought of as variants demo DBG. But the problem is there are too many applications which have same icon and same name, and it doesn't really help to figure out which application is which variant. I mean, what is a staging debug application? Is it this one or is it this one? Or staging release, is it this one or the other one? The problem that we are trying to solve is how to make builds unmistakably identifiable in the Android emulator or on Android device when you install them through Android Studio. And now what do I mean by that? This is what I mean. You can clearly see that the icons have different color and the name of the application have clearly defined flavor attached to it. For example, production debug is this one and QA debug is red iconed application with QA, and staging debug is red icon with staging attached to it. And in the same way, releases also can be easily identified. Now, how to make this possible? Let's look at that through a hands-on. So the first thing that we will have to do is change the icon for debug and release build types. For example, here in the main res folder, we have some icons and all build variants are using the same icon. Instead of that, what we want to do is we want to use a different icon for the debug. There are many other ways to achieve this kind of differentiation, but I am going to show you which I find very useful. Because build types are only 2, which is debug and release, if you just differentiate between 2 different icon colors, that is good enough. So that is the approach I take. So what I can do is go to debug here, and under debug, I will create a res folder just like we have a res folder under main, and we will add these drawables under debug. And what is this debug? This is debug specific source set. We have covered source set earlier. So in this source set, I will simply create these new drawable assets. I already have them handy, so I will just copy paste them here. So you can see that these are the new icons that I have added under res. And this is how that particular icon looks like. Now what I will do is I will just close all tabs and let me just uninstall these application and reinstall all the things again and see whether I can differentiate between application. Instead of coming here and selecting each thing, installing and uninstalling and everything, I have written a script which is called as uninstall all variants. It basically helps me to uninstall all the variants in one single go. I will be committing this particular file in the GitHub demo link that I will be providing, so you can go through this. Explaining this is beyond the scope of this particular video. So what I will do is uninstall all variants.sh, and you can see that it automatically uninstalls all the applications from the emulator. And now I have another script called as install all variants, which basically installs all the application in one single go. And I have another script which is called as clean and reinstall. So this clean and reinstall basically uses install. If you see here, it uses uninstall, and then later in the step 5 it uses install all variants. So I will use this clean reinstall -all. So let me come here, clean reinstall.sh file, enter. give it some time and you should be able to basically see all the apps in the emulator. Yeah, let us see whether I am able to see all the application. Yes, you can see that debug applications have red icon and release applications have green icon. So it becomes very easy to identify which application is debug and which application is release. But there is still a problem here. If you recall, in our application, we have multiple flavors. Let me open the build Gradle file. So if you come down here, we have multiple flavors, QA, staging, and production. That part I am not able to make out just based on the naming convention that I am seeing here. We have solved one problem. So the first thing that we will do is come to the build types here, and here we have manifest placeholder called as app label. We don't want app label coming from here. So let me just open a manifest file and show you why I say that. This app label is basically coming from here. We don't want the application build to take its name from debug and release. We want it to take its name from the flavors that we have defined here. So what I can do is I can just comment it out and then come to the Android manifest file. Instead of using app label, I will use strings app name. What do I mean by strings app name? This one. Where is this coming from? It is coming from in the resource folder in the main. There is a string.xml file and that is where it is coming from. Now, if I define this similar strings file for other source sets, then I should be able to get the custom name that whatever that I want to get. So let me show you what do I mean. Let me keep it shorter one. So what I will do is under this source, I will create new directories and call them as QA resource, staging resource, and prod resource. And then under QA resource, I will create a new Android source file called as strings.xml, and from here let me copy this particular string.xml file and place it here, and let me do the same for staging and then for production as well. I think I forgot to create another one, so let me create another directory called prod resource, and here let me paste the file. Let me go to the QA string.xml, and here I am going to call it as variant demo app QA, and now let me go to the staging.string.xml, and here I am going to call it as variant demo app staging, and then finally let me open the manifest file, ensure that it is using app name and then underscore round. I want it to use the round icon. Yeah, that should be good enough, and this thing can be removed, the activity name. And now let me build the application, and before I run it, let me uninstall these things. That should uninstall all the applications, and now let me run clean reinstall all.
A few moments later.
Everything is taking variant demo app. Something is wrong. Let me just check. I think we have not placed the strings XML file in the appropriate location and have not removed certain strings.xml file from certain builds. Let me just check here. This is a debug. Let me open the strings. Yeah, this is correct. Main strings. There is a small typo. Variant demo, and this one, I think this string.xml should not be there, so let me just remove this. Then let me come to production. I think it is not there in the values. Yeah, that was the problem, and that should not have anything appended to it, so variant demo is fine. QA, yeah, once again it was not under the values, so let me just put it under the values and check. Variant demo QA, yeah, that is fine. Release is pretty much similar to debug, so I can just copy the resource file that is there under here in the debug and put it under the release. And this also should not contain anything because now we are pulling the name of the application from the flavor type, not from the debug and release. debug and release is now being identified with the color of the icon. So we will keep this as empty, and now coming to the staging, yeah, once again it is not under the values. Yeah, that was the problem, I think. Let me just go back to the terminal here and uninstall all the existing apps, and then adb reboot because it might get cached. And in the meantime, let me just clean the project and then also assemble the project again. And now the boot is complete, and now let me reinstall all the apps and builds again. So let me just execute this.
12 seconds later.
Yeah, looks like things got installed. Let me open the settings, apps, see all apps. Yeah, this is right. You can see that these three icons in the green color, but one doesn't have anything, so that means it is a production release. This is QA release, and this is staging release, and this is production debuggable, QA debuggable, and staging debuggable. That is how you basically make sure that you can easily identify the application variants. It becomes very important when you are dealing with multiple variants and multiple teams are testing and doing the releases. And if you are expecting the team members to actually open each application and then see, understand what variant they are working on, then you are really setting up your team for mistakes. So you can use this approach to really make it easy for yourself and the team. So far we have seen only one flavor, but you can do more than one flavor. In the next video, we will look at how to do that. So stay tuned. That brings us to the end of this particular video. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video and subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye.